Hey, hello there. Welcome to Talking with Tony. We kicked off college football last week with our panel picking for the first time this season. We get into the NFL some this week, and I welcome back Danny Arp. He's pinch hitting for Fred Blatchford, actually. Fred was scheduled to come in, and his father was having a medical day, get some tests and getting some results and all, and they're going to switch. Fred's going to do the show next week, and we wish all the best to Fred's dad. He's young, 91 years of age. So I'm pleased though to have Danny Art back with me. And Danny, observations from you from the first week. I visually thought LSU looked as good as anybody, as physical as they were in that contest against Clemson, because I thought Clemson played at a high level as well.
I would say that was the best game of the weekend, probably. As far as like the two best teams out there. I know the Ohio, obviously, if you look at the new AP poll, some people don't agree with me. You got Ohio State at the top now, right? But
Hmm.
that was a great game as well. But I do feel like the prime time matchup, I guess, the noon took the glisten off of the Texas Ohio State game a little bit. And by the time everybody got to PM, what a game to watch. And I like it that it came out on my side of the pick, as I said it would. Uh,
Hmm. You were the
it was a
only
great
one.
game. I think Klubnik, I can't say his name right. Klubnik, just
Kate
like I said,
Clement.
I mean, you had too much pressure. I think you called it. You just had too much pressure from that uh, front group from LSU. He made the critical pick and sort of the game changer, if you ask me.
I want to congratulate the panel, even myself. We all won our five-star game except for John. But to John's credit, you and were both 6-4 last week. He was the only one that dropped his five-star. Y'all have two different five stars, so that's what's most. People will look at the overall records and all,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But for me, the most important thing is your five-star picks. And those coming through. So it's nice to get off to a good start there.
Look, we don't want to get much into it, but I'm working in a visiting, let's call it visiting a new location at work in it's Columbia, and I'm walking around. I feel good. I keep telling everybody as my 5-star pick, I was on your team, and then you got the half the Clemson people all depressed. But I love just sitting back watching them go at each other.
Yeah, well, I imagine you do. If you don't mind, let's get into it this week. We've got five college games, and I believe it's six or seven NFL games. And I'll be honest with you, the I will admit the college schedule is not that appealing this weekend. There's a couple of really nice contests. The next weekend will be really good. We're going to have some of that. If I had my druthers, I would have rather team start off all clubbing baby seals last week and play good football this week, but we saw those matchups, those non-conference great matchups, pure last week. But one matchup that is awesome this weekend and is usually a very good game is when Iowa and Iowa State get together. Now, Iowa State, I believe, stole that game last year from Iowa. How do you see it? How do you see it this time? Do the Hawkeyes get revenge, or Cyclones continue this strong start because they went overseas in week zero and then they came back and a lot of people said, you know what, South Dakota's a good football team and they may be caught sleeping, and they weren't. They were all business, Danny.
Yeah, it was a good 2-0 start for them so far. Um, I think if you look at it on paper, Iowa State probably much better team lining up, head to head against Iowa. You look at the spread and think, why? I mean, you would think it'd be bigger than that, as good as Iowa State is playing. But you got this intense rivalry going on. Good stat. I looked up and saw that 6 of the last 8 games between these two have been settled by one score or less. So
Okay.
they got it lined up pretty good as far as they're concerned. But I'm still going to go ahead and go with Iowa State. I feel like they got the advantage. They got the home field advantage. It is going to be a close game, but I think a little late pull away from
Another
Iowa
low
State.
scoring game between these two rivals.
Say it again.
Another low scoring game between
Yeah,
these
I think
two
it'll be
rivals.
another. It seems to be that way. I mean, in last weekend was crazy low scoring in a majority of the games, but maybe all the offenses are getting their legs under them. I don't know, but
Yeah, the defense is usually ahead of the offense at the beginning
yeah,
of the year. Now, a guy who puts up plenty of offense is Lane Kiffin. And last year, they stumbled against Kentucky, and it probably cost them the college football playoff. I think you can take the probably out of there. It did. They get revenge this week, or is Kentucky going to be a problem playing at home as Kentucky defends the home turf of Lexington?
Well, this is my number. That was my number two head scratcher last year. I already stated that last week. I still cannot get over, and I'll say it every time you get on here that Notre Dame beat Georgia. But this was my second head scratcher, them losing, dropping that game to Kentucky. But all I can say is holy Toledo, because Kentucky doesn't get off. Toledo didn't get off to a little slow start. They may have beat Kentucky last week, and that's saying something right there. Um, they were able to rush the ball though. Kentucky did a good job, 220 yards on the ground against Toledo, the mighty Toledo. What are they, the Rockets?
That's correct.
And they won't be able to run it like that against Ole Miss. They only threw for like 82 yards. They gave up 270 yards passing to Toledo. So I'm saying Ole Miss by two TDs probably.
And that is your five star. Speaking of
That
five
is my
stars.
five-star pick. And if this game doesn't take care of Stoops and put him officially on the hot seat, they love him up there, man. I don't know why they do, but they love mediocrity, I guess.
All right. So two favorites so far from Danny. Speaking of a favorite, Virginia Tech is going to be coming off a loss to South Carolina. I thought they played pretty well, gave up a couple of huge plays in the opening drive of the Gamecocks. Just very impressive as well. Now they host Vanderbilt, and Virginia Tech is favored by one here. So it's basically a pick 'em game. Who wins here of the battle of the SEC and ACC teams?
Well, look, I love all these cross conference rivals we got going on. The
Yeah,
the Virginia Tech exception did play way better than I thought they would, and I thought South Carolina and Sellers settled in a little bit there late, and looked like the team they should have. But to go in that environment and play the way they did, I'll give them kudos. But and again, I love Lane Stadium. I don't know if anybody, your viewers ever been there. It's a great place to go. I've gone to one game there. I watched Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech play there. It's raucous. It's crazy. And I assume that's why they're getting the 1 point nod to Virginia Tech.
you weren't there the night they had the fire there or whatever it was between Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, was it? One year
No,
there was.
it was a fire by what was the quarterback for what was his name? Started with an N for Georgia Tech. It was so good forever. Oh man, all
Give
these.
me give me a year
It
time.
was like 2013, 14, 15, somewhere in there.
All right, so it's not the Sean, the national
No,
champion. It's
no,
not
it
John.
wasn't that guy that
It's
won the
not
national
John
championship.
Dewberry in 1985.
Nah, he's the scrambler. He ran the ball. He's great. He looks sort of like a junior Cam Newton, man. He was
Where's
about
Lane
this
Anderson
close
when we
to
need
being
him?
Cam Newton. Neiman.
Where's Lane Anderson if he still likes sports? I don't know. Sometimes Lane's on sports, sometimes he's off. John Norton's outing people like it's college football season. I'm not going to try to talk to a certain number of people. He doesn't mention Lane, so does that mean Lane's not watching sports? I didn't understand.
Well, Lane gave up on sports when his son converted to a Georgia fan, went to Georgia. But anyway, I guess the point I'm getting to is that I think Vandy looks better to me. I think Vandy's a better team. Diego, picked up right where he left off last week. So I really like Vandy in this game. I like it a lot. I'm going to take Vanderbilt and win it.
Okay, so a road warrior SEC team goes in and defeats a team, and they'll be a little more rested. I don't know how much of a fact it will be. Was it Joshua Nesbitt? Is that who you're talking about?
Nesbitt, that's exactly who it was. Joshua Nesbitt. He
Or
ran to the
Winshaw
floor with
Jones?
like 2 minutes left. No, not even that much. 30 seconds left. And I looked at my buddy and I said, man, y'all better not kick off to them. He's a Tech guy. And they ran the kickoff back with 5 seconds left. And then Virginia Tech won the game. It was the best thing I'd ever seen being a Georgia guy. I had no
Mhm.
skin in the game, but it was a great game. But Nesbitt, yeah, Joshua Nesbitt had a fantastic game. And the fact that he lost was unbelievable.
Well, I don't have Fred's picks because of the situation with his father, but we will throw them on the end of the show because at the end of the show, I'm going to have Jake roll the picks like we've done in the past, and we'll have them by then. But I will tell you that everybody else is on Vanderbilt except for Stormy. He's on Virginia Tech, and it's John's five star. John 0-1 with the five stars, but he comes back with
John's got
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he's got Vanderbilt.
I like it.
Okay.
Makes me feel even better about Vandy now that Stormy's on Virginia Tech.
Do you think of Boston College and the ACC? How do you feel about when you see Boston College? What do you think about?
I always like Boston College. I mean, I watch them play, and I watch Louisville games, so I always get to watch them at least once a year playing Louisville. Um, I mean, I think they're making games where they need to. They no two. The game you're talking about here is Boston College, Michigan State. No real powerhouses per se. Little brothers of their conferences.
Well, I will
Uh,
tell you this. I'll out you on this. In the late 80s, you were at a party, and the ESPN Saturday Night Football game that kicked off at 7:30 was playing in the living room of this where we were at for this party, and it was nothing nefarious going on here. I mean, there was adults there, all this, but Boston College and Penn State were playing on the television. And most of us were pulling for Penn State. You and I were pulling for Boston College because we were pulling for the underdog. And like you just said, you liked Boston College. And I made you sing "He Stopped Loving Her Today" that night in front of everybody. Now, that wasn't fair to you because we didn't have any music to play. So you were doing it like a
Acapella.
acapella version of it and all. But that was many years ago. But I believe that you've liked Boston College because I remember you cheering for them on that occasion in the late 80s.
I've always enjoyed watching it. It's sort of a cool place. I like Boston. It's to me it'd be sort of neat to go to college there.
Now they have to go to East Lansing here. How will they do on the road against a pretty decent Big Ten program in Michigan State? Michigan State favored by 3.
Well, what I see here is Michigan State. They got this starting this freshman quarterback. No, but I don't know much about him at all. But looking up, what's it called? Aiden Chili's, or I don't know if to say his name,
That's
Child.
correct.
But they got all their hopes and dreams riding on that. Um, they had a great opening against Western Michigan. I know people want to laugh about that, but to me, I think Western Michigan's a pretty scrappy little team. They played a lot of big time schools, so it's a decent warm up. And then Boston College, if you have watched them, not very good with mobile quarterbacks, and he is a supposedly mobile quarterback. But the little nugget is, in my mind, he only rushed 10 times, and he got 8 yards. That's more scrambling than a mobile quarterback to me. So I think that's a little bit of a misread by the people that are picking Michigan State. But I don't know.
This was a
I
tough one
think,
for you, I think.
huh?
I think this pick was a tough one for you.
I did. I didn't really know which way to go, but I do feel like I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know that that'll be the issue. I don't know that the running quarterback will make the difference, but I do just feel for some reason I think Michigan State's going to be able to hold on and win by more than a field goal.
Now, if BC still had Castellanos, the quarterback who is the quarterback now with Florida State, would that have swung you to the other side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I think that would have made a little bit of a difference, and that could have been the difference in the 3 points. But I
You can
think
pay these
I
guys a
think a close match.
You can
Close
pay.
match.
We've talked about this on the show before. You can pay these guys all this crazy NIL money and pay for play money and all this, but it's the game of college football still comes down to quarterback play and play at the line of scrimmage. You can have the best 5-star running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs. You've got to have a quarterback and you've got to have the offensive and defensive line.
No doubt. I mean, and I think defensive line, obviously quarterback play, right? Quarterback can change the game, especially if he's got nice weapons around him. But I think that I love it. Georgia guy, defensive front seven play to me can make or break it. It can save your season. I've seen it happen over and over again. I think we all have. Defense will win championships for you in a matchup like this. Who knows?
Think you're going to see that this year at Texas. I think that their defense will keep them in the SEC race throughout, even if their offense has struggles. People don't understand how good their defense played on Saturday against Ohio State. They were phenomenal. We'll got to move to Michigan and Oklahoma. Talk about Ohio State. This is their rival, Michigan. Now, this is probably the marquee game of the Saturday slate. In fact, it's the primetime game on ABC. Oklahoma is at home. Oklahoma's favored by 5.5. How do you see it?
Well, you're definitely more than a big guy than I am. When you know those teams in and out, back of your hand more than I do. I don't get this spread myself. And you and I don't really talk before the shows much, but I was just curious what you're thinking. I don't see why it's so big. I get it that they got the home field advantage, but that seems a little excessive to me. Um, maybe they got a freshman quarterback too, right? Michigan, they brought in his name, Bryce Underwood.
Underwood, Bryce Underwood, top player in the country in most, ratings, if you go by, if you believe in that kind of thing. Certainly the number one quarterback.
Again, he's got to go into this hostile. They keep saying he's going to this hostile SEC environment, and I don't see Oklahoma being. I'm not saying it's not a tough place to play, but I don't see it being that hostile. I don't see it being enough to make an impact. And I like it. I like the freshmen to have a good game. They're going to get behind that big line they got, and I feel good about it. I'm picking Michigan and the points.
All right. I did not make a college pick, but I can see that happening. I do think it's going to be a great game. I believe Oklahoma's improved themselves in the transfer portal. So let's move to the Sunday slate of games. I believe there's seven to choose from. The first one will be the Aaron Rodgers debut with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a very curious line. It's -2.5 at the Jets, and it is staying right there. It's like the odds makers are not scared of the Steelers. They will not bump this up to 3. They're keeping it at 2.5, and they're getting some action on the Jets as well. I see that you believe it's going to be a victorious debut for Aaron Rodgers and company.
Yeah, it is a weird storyline how they've swapped quarterbacks and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a lot on his mind, especially that meeting when he basically was told that he was, they didn't like him, didn't want him. He's going to be looking for revenge. Question comes down in a revenge game: who wants it more? And I feel like that great defense, both teams, great defenses. Probably two of the best defenses going to be in the NFL this year. But I like the Steelers.
Mm, okay. And as I look at everybody else's picks, only Stormy took the Jets. Now, Stormy's 5 stars in this next game, and the NFL calls them the Commanders. He's here and talking with Tony. We still call them the Redskins. So, and he still believes in still calling them the Redskins. He's going with the Redskins -5.5. They're at home against the Giants. I would tell you this is my first pick of the weekend, and I'm going with the Giants +5.5.
Tell you what, I like it. I like it a lot. That's a good pick. I think the defensive front that you're going to have from those Giants are going to keep this close enough. And again, I feel like first week NFL, who the heck knows? But I, they got enough parts coming back on that defensive side for the Giants. I think they might can even win the game.
Hmm. Okay, I'm with you. My 5 star appears in this next game. It's my only other pick of the weekend. I've got the New England Patriots -3 at home against the Raiders. I love what they did in the preseason. I love what they did in the offseason. They've improved their coaching staff. They got off to a good start last year in week 1 by beating Cincinnati at Cincinnati. Of course, complete different coaching staff, but I really like the Patriots. I think they're an improved football team, and I think the offensive line will be better for May. So I'm going with the Patriots, and I think you agree with me here as well.
I agree with you there as well. And I can recognize all the upgrades that the Raiders have, right? They've made a lot of good changes, a lot of changes on that offensive side of the ball that I think is going to help them. But I love the veterans of the New England team coming back, and I think they're going to win it.
I like it too. Buccaneers and Falcons will be a lot of local interest here. The Buccaneers are favored by 2.5, and most people are on the Falcons, and you agree too. Is it the home? Is it the home, or is it the fact they swept the Buccaneers last year? What gives Atlanta the nod here?
Well, you know how I felt about Atlanta. I picked them one time, and they absolutely gave it away. I didn't pick them the rest of the year and lost. But I'm all on the Falcons, man. They finally did what I want them to. They drafted my main man, Jalen Walker. And again, I think everybody's underestimating how good the Falcons defense is going to be this year. I mean, you got a lot of Georgia players on there, plus, and not a lot, but a decent amount. You got Leonard Floyd, the senior guy, bringing in the rookie, Jalen Walker. I think it's going to be terrorizing defense by the Falcons this year. And I'm going to ride them. And if they let me down, man, I'm telling you now, don't even ever put them on the panel with me again. If I'm on the show, don't put them on.
I did find it interesting that Kevin went with the Buccaneers. There's nobody on the panel who loves the Falcons more than he, because he just loves the Falcons, and he went with the Buccaneers. So
He's trying mind games on it.
and as I think of Kevin, I think about this is his 5 star pick in the Lions Packers game. The Packers are favored by 2.5. A lot of similar lines here this weekend. Of course, the Packers made a splash with acquiring Michael Parsons. His 5 stars, the away team though, there at the Detroit, it's not the Tigers, the Detroit Lions, plus 2.5. This is in divisional rivalry here. How do you see this game going on at Green Bay?
I don't mess around and look at a lot of stats and lines and read what I can when I'm making Packers picks. I just go to my main man Jeffrey that works with me here. He's a big Pack fan. So I didn't even dig into it much. I'm gonna ride him and say go Pack go. I'm taking the Packers.
All right. The next game is the game that I'm most interested in Sunday because I have a wager on the 49ers to win their division. And it's a significant one. And they opened the season as road favorites at Seattle. And they did very well in this situation last year. They're 2.5 point favorites. What scares me to death is every single member of the panel has got the San Francisco 49ers. What gave San Francisco the edge here for you?
Again, I am going with defense giving it the edge. I think we mentioned it earlier with the college games. I mean, these pro defenses are going to be a little ahead of these offenses. You got the Seahawks bringing in, got the what's his name, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. He's a great quarterback. He's a great commodity to have on the team, but he's getting into a new system, right? He's got to start clicking with new players, and it's not easy to do. So I'm sticking with Nick Bosa and Mikael Williams and that defense from the 49ers.
Meanwhile, maybe they will be able to do the Trump dance a couple of times with some sacks. That's what Bosa was doing last year, close to election time. Your man Leonard Floyd even joined him on one of them. I think it was at Miami. I'm not positive where it was, but 3 or 4 of them were participating in it. Uh,
I'd prefer not to see that myself, but you know how it is. That's fine.
the most
I go
intriguing
back to Dirty Bird or something like that, the Super Bowl shuffle. I don't know.
The most intriguing matchup is the Ravens and the Bills. It's basically an even line. The Ravens are favored by 1. I think it has moved to like even, but for y'all's sake, when I sent out the picks, the Ravens are favored by 1. It's split here on the panels. It's definitely two teams capable of going to the Super Bowl. You've chose the Ravens. I want to know why you went with the road team here.
Well, I mean, they got the line even. You look at the teams, they're even. If you look at their records, they're even. I mean, I think Lamar Jackson, arguably in my mind, one of the best players I've ever watched in my life. And he is 3-3 against them. He's been haunted by this team. He's been haunted by the Bills, right? I mean, he's got a storyline that could be exceptional, but he can't get past it. They knocked him out of the playoffs last year, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And I feel like that finally this could be the start this season of him getting over that hump. And I think they're definitely going to go deep, if not all the way to the Super Bowl myself. I love the Ravens. I'll
Okay.
take them at any line, but I like them at -1.
I mean, there's as good a shot as anybody to get to that Super Bowl. Danny, I want you to stay there. I want to get a final thought from you. First, I want to run down everybody's picks. We'll begin with Fred, who we don't have at the moment as we are doing the show, but we will have him by the time the show goes up. As that's why I'm buying a little time here because those picks are being put up right now. Fred is 5-5 on the season, 1-0 and 5 stars. We'll go with my picks next. I am 3-1 on the year and 1-0 and 5 stars. I have 2 picks: the Giants plus 5.5, and I'm going with the Patriots -3 as my 5 star. That Patriot game in New England at home against the Raiders. John Perkison is next. He's 6-4 on the year, 0-1 on his 5 stars. He's got Iowa plus 3.5, Ole Miss -9. His 5 star is Vanderbilt +1. He likes Boston College +3 and Michigan, the road team, plus 5.5 at Oklahoma. In the pros, he goes with Aaron Rodgers and those Steelers -2.5. The Washington Redskins, some people call them the Commanders, -5.5. He likes the Raiders +3 against the Patriots. He goes with the Falcons +2.5, Detroit +2.5. Those 49ers we were just discussing -2.5, and the Bills +1. Stormy is 3-7 on the year, 1-0 in his 5 stars. He's got Iowa State -3.5, Kentucky +9, Virginia Tech -1, Michigan State -3, Michigan +5.5. We move to the NFL. He goes with the Jets, the home team, +2.5. His 5 stars, those Washington Redskins / Commanders, -5.5. He calls them the Redskins still. The Patriots are -3, and he likes those guys. He joins me. That was my 5 star. He goes with the Falcons +2.5, The Lions plus 2.5. He also goes with the 49ers minus 2.5. And in the big game, he takes the home team. He takes the Bills plus 1. Danny is 6-4, 1-0 in his 5 stars. He's got Iowa State minus 3.5. His 5 star this week is the Ole Miss Rebels looking for revenge, favored by 9. He goes with the Commodores at Virginia Tech. That's not the musical group. He likes the Vanderbilt football team plus 1. Michigan State, he's got minus 3 at home against Boston College. And in the huge game, he goes with the away team, thinks they're going to play it close or even possibly win. Michigan plus 5.5 against Oklahoma. In the NFL, he'll take the Steelers minus 2.5. He goes with the Giants plus 5.5. He's with me on the New England Patriots minus 3. He's got the Atlanta Falcons plus 2.5 in their big divisional game. The Green Bay Packers favored minus 2.5. The San Francisco 49ers minus 2.5. And he takes the Ravens, the away team in the Sunday night game, minus 1. Kevin is 3-7, 1-0 in his 5 stars. He's got Iowa State minus 3.5. Ole Miss minus 9. Vanderbilt plus 1. He goes with Michigan State minus 3. Oklahoma is his pick, minus 5.5 in the primetime game on Saturday night. In the NFL, he goes with the Steelers minus 2.5, the Commanders minus 5.5, the Raiders plus 3, the Buccaneers minus 2.5. His 5 star, Detroit Lions plus 2.5, and he likes the 49ers minus 2.5 and the Ravens minus 1. Final thoughts, Danny, for the little something that the people can watch, look out for this weekend?
I would say this weekend, look out for some special teams play in this college games. You got you got one block this past weekend, but I'm looking for at least 2 or 3 run backs this weekend. Uh,
Okay, and what game will you most look forward to seeing yourself?
well, I'm obviously going to look forward to watching the Dogs play, but then I'm going to watch that Michigan Oklahoma game. That's the one I cannot wait to see.
I can't get into the
Miss,
Dogs
love
Club and
it.
Baby Sills.
Ole Miss, my sleeper pick, right? But for the making the playoffs deep.
Hmm.
But I think they're going to light up the scoreboard there. Going to be a scoring fest, and then I can't wait to watch see what goes down with this Michigan and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma. See if Oklahoma really can represent this SEC. I mean, Texas came in and did what they needed to do. Let's see if Oklahoma can do it. I don't think they can against Michigan.
Danny, I really appreciate no, you're. I really appreciate you taking the time and pinching in and joining us. And I think that the panel has made some great picks this week.
Me too. Good weekend last weekend. Great picks this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. If you didn't get any projects done over the summer, too bad. It's football season, baby. Let's do it.
You heard him. You can put those projects on to another time. For Jake Barton, our producer, and for Danny Arp, I am Tony Jones. We'll see you next time right here on Talking with Tony. Fred Blatcher to be our guest picker next week.